Yeah, and I'm not even talking, right? So don't, you're not hearing me. I'm not quoting the Bible. I'm not doing anything. I got you. So, like, you're working in a hospital, working with people with kids. It's like art. You can't possibly. It's like saying, I don't believe in heartache. So, that means what? When it comes to learning how to date or form relationships, or that I don't know how many women. It's going to sound like I'm bragging, but I mean, I went through I had a lot of relationships, but by the time I met my wife, I knew exactly what it was. But I had to let go of those other things, so you become a stalker. So you kind of have to take the heartache, and then you have to move it forward, right? Well, I totally agree with that when it comes to relationships. And that's the parallel. It's the same thing. You're grieving apart. You're grieving a loss in a relationship that didn't get another mother.
Actually, can you brand and shoot have teeth in front teeth and can crunches with a picture? Yeah.
I'm a real woman because I'm still connected with my mother. But I agree with the thought process on, it's 22 and you lose your spouse.
Before that was married, you think it was Katie Brennan, perhaps. But yeah, I guess it was a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. We need to figure out how to not do that. But my point of, there's a part of me that was created 40 years ago. There's a personality for me that is just for my mom. That part of me is never coming out again. That energy is not going to.
What'd you do? I asked to borrow a pen. A pencil and a pen. And I took it, I knocked it off the ground, she went down, reached down and grabbed it, and it kissed her hand. What a creep. Yeah. Anyway.
I look at that and I say, that is great. And I put a bow on it and I go, I'm just really proud that I had that relationship with my father. And then I try to pay it forward, right? I'll tell you what, I don't know how we could have set up the phone calls better. So this is your chance to jump in. We'll give you all the news that we do open line. Justin Harrison on the virtual news to help you in the free text on Coast to Coast AM. Workers in the Lake Elsinore Storm clubhouse have been burned in a natural gas explosion at Diamond Stadium. The explosion happened this afternoon at the San Diego Padres minor league club stadium. Padres tomorrow's games have been postponed. Jurors have wrapped up a third day of deliberations in the retrial of that 70s show actor Daniel Masterson without reaching a verdict. Masterson is charged with raping 3 women at his home in Hollywood Hills between 2001 and 2003. A group of drivers for the OC Transportation Authority will end their strike and return to work Monday. The employees who drive disabled commuters have been on strike since May 3rd. Nearly 250 drivers voted to accept the new contract. The LA City Council passed another resolution to crack down on RVs parking overnight on some city streets in sections of Westchester and Mar Vista. The council approved a similar motion for several streets around Venice last month. Southland weather from KFI clearing to mostly sunny skies tomorrow. Guys in the low 70s to the 70s separate. Winds to 64 in Gardena, 61 West Alameda. Local in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Amy King. Big paradise. Let's tell me something southbound that road trans. We have cleanup crews from an earlier patch taking up the right lane to that slow from the 105. Block the 10th Avenue. We have good news. Earlier crash on the 210 westbound at Block the 10th Avenue has been cleared from lane to that. It's recovered from Ocean View. And in addition to the Coast, there is a LaSalle side northbound from Oakville Parkway to the way. Right lane's going to be shut down for road work until 8. Expect delays in that area. KFI, the guy will take you there faster. All right, man. You will take you to the food. The food at last is done. I think to the place. You do not also early to the bullshit. You do not throw the mess. Do not work them down. People who struggle with these have partners who struggle too. Luckily now there's Inspire. No knock, no hose, just sleep. When I sleep, you think of you will never to visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com. Call 888-317-4373
On the podcast That Moment with David John, the Facebook founder and star of Shark Tank speaks with business moguls, celebrities, athletes, and more to get their candid reflections on that moment, the event that shaped and redefined their lives. You gotta have a little guarantee to survive in this business because they will also challenge anything they think won't fight back. Please don't blame me. Listen to That Moment with David John on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. The Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health is celebrating with community events in May and June. Go to takeactionlac.com to find an event near you and take action for mental health. KFI AM 640. Russian analyst who says that we intend to take us all with us. I think I'm going to do a supply check in my budget tonight. You should make sure I have everything.
Yeah, we should go and check it out, in case we want to touch again.
I'm not going anywhere with the co-host. I'd rather be thankful for authorized guests. John and Ken, you're just going to be in Tyler's Smoking Room. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. And we have a new flavor, the radio-flavored Coca-Cola. That should be their next product, right? Hello, world. Oh, no. Oh, do you want a soda that tastes like Bill Handle? Bill Handle. I don't want to go there. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. I'm a guy with a heart of gold, the way of the gentleman, I control the time, the guy with never on the food. Again, certain as a national family benefit for the rest, I prefer that son of a gun to the first degree. Now, any presidential fulfill, I don't figure it'll hurt my health, just looking for 25 years, you said yes. Then next to flavor all the things that are coming to party of the game, everything's never stop waiting for me. To talk to Ian Product, call the wild card line at 818-501-4109. The first time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll free from east of the Rockies, call 800-821-5033. From west of the Rockies, toll free, call 800-618-8255. This is Coast to Coast AM with Ian Product. I can listen to the number Cody in the last Friday. All night he was going head off the roof. We got all the numbers. Look at enjoy the conversation. We're talking to Justin Harrison. You can link up to him at coasttocoastam.com. Sign up for Newsletter. Create a virtual version of you to help others and maybe even yourself cope with the concept of loss. One of the things I say about grief is it's a great way to prepare ourselves to understand our own mortality. But if you want to think around that, this might be the get around you've been looking for too. So take a look. You can link up to him at coasttocoastam.com and you can talk to Justin personally in just a minute. Looking for all these new callers on a Friday night. I just kind of fun of it. Same thing when we do the open line calls coming up. If you're online and you go to coasttocoastam.com, you can sign up for Coast Insider. And there's new shows that are added to the Art Bell Vault there are also new RTL shows that are not on that, but I have to mention it because so many people have brought it up on Twitter, and you can put it at Twitter, and that is that there is a sort of virtual version of Marcel that they did a show with recently, in which they took Marcel and they using it kind of a chat GPT program that did the virtual Marcel so that he could say thank you to his fans and then the sort of speak from the afterlife. And a lot of people were telling me about it. I missed it, but I'll have to go back and catch it later on. In the meantime, you can always keep Marcel near and dear to you. You can find 2 plus all the great George Norrie shows too at Coast Insider. And follow me on Twitter. Remember that podcast I've been working on is going to drop in the early part of June. Yep. And the next time I'm on, I'll play a slightly longer clip of it. I've got it all I've got it all worked out. So we'll see. On ROTHSCHILD AM, this is the end. Looking to switch to the most trusted wireless brand? Choose Consumer Cellular. They have been offering superior nationwide coverage for over 27 years. Switch today and save up to half on your wireless bill. They offer unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month. Their award-winning customer support team makes switching easy. You can keep your phone and number, and activation is free. Plus, you can add a family member to your plan for just $15 a month. Never worry about dropped calls because Consumer Cellular has the exact same coverage as the major carriers, with coverage to over 99% of the nation. This is all backed by their 100% risk-free guarantee. Also, with Consumer Cellular, you can save up to $250 a year. Go to consumercellular.com/Rory, and for a limited time, get $25 off your wireless bill when you use promo code Rory. That's consumercellular.com/Rory and use promo code Rory for $25 off. When banks fail, when bonds are devalued, and the stock market is in turmoil, you'll be glad you own gold, but now you can own gold in a retirement account. That's right. First Gold will help you convert an old IRA or 401k into an IRA of physical gold. Just text the word COAST to 989898 and get a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just valuable insights. Protect your savings with gold from First Gold. Text COAST to 989898.
Poor Sam was a mess. Always itching, flipping because we're searching what he had. Bald spots on his back. He started cellular and started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. Diet is nutrition. Diet is the best thing you can do for your dog. Your dog will be. I get my Diet from ViralRabbi.com.
Open line calls coming up next hour, but Justin Harrison of taking their calls. First time caller line, Brian is in Chicago, where, as I understand it, you gave from my kids. Brian, you got all that smoky haze from Canada today?
Yeah, we do. It's the first time on my phone it says 63 and smoky.
I have to say that would be a first for me too. I never heard of that. I never heard of that either. That's amazing. Anyway, you have a question or a comment for Justin Harrison?
Sure, I'll just be brief because I know you got other callers, but Ian, I always listen to your show. I rarely agree with you, but that's interesting too. But in this particular case, I do agree with you. By the way, my condolences to your guest for the loss of his mom. How difficult that is. I lost my mom to cancer about 2 years ago. But, you know, the older I get, the more I find that there are more similarities in life than there aren't. As far as, you know, if you want a healthy gut, you have to have good and bad bacteria. If you want a healthy garden, you have to add fertilizer to it. There always has to be balance to the good. Balance
So like if I could connect with my phone also to the customer system, the database. Can you imagine what kind of damage you can make? So they were not allowing us to do it with Android, only with iPhone at the beginning. It took a few more years and it was open as well. I use a lot of external hard drives, and there's no way to do this simple about. Yeah. And this is right where you can find it. And I'm not talking out of the box, but if you're searching the net, you cannot find it either. Still hard. What would you say to that, Justin? Connect them with USB, it's not so much a problem anymore, but that's just one of the reasons I never liked it. Are you still using this driver or are you moving to the cloud? No, I'm still using external hard drives. These are meant to store a lot of information myself. I must say, a lot of things that I haven't done anything from. I like it. Well, me, like I'm afraid that I follow the trend and like most of my stuff are on cloud. But I'm doing so. So I have like high availability. I have it both on all my pictures, both on the Microsoft cloud and also on the Apple cloud. So just in case one of the companies is going down, so I have the access to it. Yeah, so I like to use a Google Photos for backup, Google Content, Google Drive, the OneDrive for backup, and then just as another added backup, I do the yearly download, and then download for example, onto a hard drive. Yeah, see, we have the right way with this.
This AI video tool for training videos was all I was seeing online, so I gave it a try. Basically, you pick your AI presenter, then type.
Yeah, girls.
Kicking ass, taking names. How you doing, baby? A little bit. I consider myself a post-modern Orthodox rabbi. If you know your math, there's only a 1 in 7 chance that today is Shabbat, which means there's only a 14% chance that most Jews who celebrate Shabbat on Shabbat are correct. There's an 86% chance that we're wrong. I lived that I have grown past it. I think that once we have people who are going to space and the sun, sunrise and sunset are no longer going to be standardized, we can move past this. So I've made the decision until Mashiach comes and we know exactly when it's Shabbat, I'm going to live my life normally. Absolutely.
Man, I come also from a religious Orthodox family, but I myself am not religious by any.
Very well. So you know that it's only a 1 in 7 chance that it's Shabbat today, right?
Yes.
Exactly. That's only a 14% chance. There's an 86% chance that all the Orthodox Jews are wrong. And if they're celebrating Shabbat on the incorrect day, it's the death penalty. So I don't want to mess with that.
But tell me, are you celebrating Shabbat in any day?
I light candles. And so I've lighted candles tonight. And I mean, I don't work on Shabbat, so this isn't work. And I don't use combustion. So, you know, anything that says there's no, tell me in the Bible where it says you can't use electronics.
I'm with you, man. Like, I'm totally with you. That's the argument that I have with my family. It tells them the same.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's why I'm best rabbi ever. And that's why you're absolutely right. It doesn't say that you can't use electronics anywhere in the Bible. That's rabbinical.
So you look at the Bible just the way it's written, and not like with all the explanations and stuff, right?
To some extent.
Whenever you read, you say this is what it means. If he doesn't say you are not allowed to do it, so you're not allowed to do it, no matter what other rabbis say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just their opinions. If I was really, really strict about the Bible, that's more Karaite Jews. And I mean, if you know, for instance, Leviticus 20, verse 13, it says if a man lies with a man. Oh, I'm sure it's on my end. I have 6 different YouTubes going. I have 7 different Instagrams. So I'm uploading so much information. I have more data on the internet than any person in global history. I have the last 2 years. Great question. I started this in 2021, in the summer of 2021, and I've been going more than 666 straight days. And I do it for world peace. I don't want people to have war anymore. I want peace everywhere on earth. And so how do we get there? We get there through helping people with world hunger. So there are things like vertical farming. There are things like hydroponics. There are things like cloud seeding that can help with agriculture. There are things that can help with world thirst, like wells and life straws and desalinization plants, which we have in Israel. And I feel like we should have everywhere on earth. To be able to take water from the ocean and put it into clean drinking water for everyone. I really think those are the important things that we have, not whether or not someone necessarily is Shomer Shabbos.
The majority of the water that people are using in Israel is coming from the sea these days.
Exactly.
Like 90%, I guess, now.
Exactly.
Can you imagine that?
I want that across the world.
You're not living
the house? Like, you stay at the house and it's dark, or you're going back?
No, I leave the house. So I've videoed as far north as Santa Barbara, as far south as San Diego, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Disneyland, Santa Monica, and then in my home in Irvine. Well, it's not one continuous video. I stream from 6 different devices on YouTube alone, and I've been doing it for more than 666 straight days. I'm closing in on 2 years.
So, like, this is going to be a formal Guinness record, or it's not going to?
No, it absolutely is. You need $5,000 to register it, so I just need to pay that. But essentially, I'm not done with the record yet. I'm continuing to do this. It's the world's largest time capsule in global history. We've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between.
So how many people do you think connected to it so far?
Oh, thousands over the course of the last 2 years.
So you feel that you're able to bring the message that you want to bring to the people?
God willing, we discuss some future technology. Anti-gravity is a really important one. Others are cryogenics, transhumanism, the idea of mind uploading, taking your mind, scanning it, putting that into a computer, and then downloading that into a cyborg, into a robot, into a cybernetic being, into an avatar, into a clone of yourself, anything that you want. But basically, we're moving past traditional Jewish thought and moving more towards a new type of human. It's transhumanism. It's basically people who don't die, and God willing, we don't die.
Rabbi, yesterday I watched again the Wolf of Wall Street, okay?
Oh, okay.
And I noticed that I didn't see it before, but the first place that is coming before, Jordan Belfort in the movie, prove me wrong, okay? That's what I remember that I saw, and I was surprised. The first name, the company that he went for first was Rothschild. The name of the office.
I think it was.
Yes.
I think so. And then he started that other company, Stratford Oakmont or whatever, correct?
Exactly. So the first place he's going forward was watching something.
That's right. We're a famous family. And when this gets big, I'm going to use this platform to do my best to spread world peace. Essentially, have you seen the movie The Truman Show?
Yes.
This is a real life Truman Show. People will be very interested when they can watch someone eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, shower, do everything that a human does. Whenever you're bored, you just click in and see what I'm doing. No one's ever done that. And no one's had it.
Are you connected to the famous Admon Rothschild?
We are all,
That helped promoting Israel from the beginning?
we're all related. There are about 3,000 of us in the United States alone.
Wow.
It's a big family. But go ahead, baby. Anti-gravity. Absolutely.
How do you think it works as a magnet? So creating a magnetic field that disrupts the gravity field. But the way to do it is it using a magnet fluid that's rotating fast inside a rodent?
That's one way to do it. You can also do it through cool, like temperature. You can do it through cold. And then also there are some advanced technologies like using element 115 to create a wormhole essentially around an object to manipulate space-time in front of it. And you can also use that for levitation purposes. There are multiple ways to do it. Agreed. And those are the things that fascinate me. Life extension technology, using human growth hormone, using stem cells, using cryonics and cryogenic therapy to live longer. Those are all really important things that I feel like we should be focusing on as a society. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. These are important topics that we don't discuss in normal society, and I feel like we should. Right. I've seen that, and it can move up and downwardly without anything touching it. These are things that have been around for almost 100 years, and they're not explored. And I want to explore them. It's very important. And it is. It's hidden from like the military-industrial complex, the powers that be hide it. And I want to bring that technology to the world. These are the things that I feel like we should be discussing in society, and we don't. And I want to change that. So what did I do? I started about 2 years ago, streaming my life 24/7, and that's what we watch. We watch documentaries on anti-gravity, on advanced propulsion, and ways that we can basically get off the grid or get off world, really. And some of these technologies certainly allow us to do so. Are you familiar with Bob Lazar? So I'm sure you probably have. He's been on Joe Rogan. He's been talking about anti-gravity since 1988 and how he's worked on it for the government. So it is something that perhaps the government knows of that these things aren't shared with us. So essentially, I think that I will one day, perhaps, I could be wrong, but be the most famous person on earth. I have more content online than any person in global history. And if you know that Bill Gates coined the phrase in the 1990s, content is king. And if that's true, then I have more content than anyone on earth. So that would make me king to some extent. No one has. Go ahead.
What's your philosophy about the cryptocurrencies? What's the role of crypto?
Crypto's the future. It's the future for the next 100 years, perhaps the next 1,000 years. We have had a situation since really the 19th century where society has been based on fiat currencies, which is really essentially historically shown no fiat currency has ever been successful long term. They all fail. And cryptocurrency gives the individual a lot of power, as we've seen with Bitcoin, and we've had Bitcoin millionaires. We'll have the same when it comes to other types of cryptocurrencies. That's why I'm very bullish on some of these others, including Wall Street babies.
Did you ever heard about Gog and
Brief me. Oh, Gog and Magog? Yeah. The Armageddon, essentially, and Megiddo, Israel. We may be moving towards that. I at least want to make sure that we do it in a peaceful way. Can I tell you my plan for the Beit HaMikdash? Excellent. So I firstly don't want anyone to die. I want very peaceful way of doing this. But really, I think what's going to happen is that the United Nations will tell the world's 13 biggest religions that you can have 2 major holy sites. So Muslims or Islam will choose Mecca and Medina. Christians may choose Rome and London. And we as Jews, there's only one place we want, and that's the Temple Mount. So what we will do is choose Jerusalem and give our second choice to Islam as a token of good faith. Islam will make their choice Islamabad. So they'll have 3 choices. What we do with the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock is we, in a very safe manner, cut them out of the ground like a cookie cutter, put them on a ship, and have that ship tour the world's major ports, especially the ones for Muslims who will never have the chance to see what the temple, what the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque are. And then perhaps move that to a permanent home in the New World, maybe in perhaps Philadelphia, something like that, where there are quite a few Muslims. But essentially, Muslims have no holy sites in the New World, and they want one. I've talked this over with Muslims, but that way no one dies. If not, there's going to be a very, very big war there, and I don't want that to happen.
I think that instead of learning from history, we're fighting over. I don't believe that we need to fight anyone need to fight over a building or stone or whatever. God is not in a building. God is like something that is spirituality beyond anything that is physical, right?
I'm in agreement with you.
For me, it's very sad to see that thousands years later, we're still fighting over buildings and places that some way are maybe more religious. They said that the religion is really hard. It does not need any stone or any building represented.
I'm in agreement with you.
I wish that all religions would be one, or at least one will respect the other, regardless of
we are moving towards one religion. It's known as monism. It's where all the world religions are combined, and they all major religions tie back to Judaism. Christianity, of course, ties back to Judaism. Islam ties back to Judaism. We don't really disagree on that many things. Yes, Christians believe in the Nazarene, and Muslims have Muhammad, and us, and we as Jews do not believe in those things. But nevertheless, if you were to dissect or do an autopsy on many Muslims, if you follow their mothers back matrilineally, mitochondrially, they would not only go back to Muhammad, but they'd go back even earlier to the Bible. Many Christians as well. About 10% of the entire world at one time was Jewish, especially under Rome. And so there are a lot of Jews out there who do not know they are Jews and do not know that they have perhaps a place in the future of Judaism. Once they know that, they'll be very interested. Really big families are like this. The Sauds are like this. The Kuwaitis are like this. Perhaps the King of Jordan's like this. If you trace their lineages back, it goes back all the way to the Bible.
Yes, well, I fully understand why people want to believe in God and have religion. I think it's good, okay? But yeah, the thing I have with religions is that I see that most of the wars that religion would be that you are a human being and that's it, you know?
That's correct, and that's basically humanistic Judaism, and that's what I am an advocate for. Basically, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, but taking care of your body, your mind, and your soul spiritually. And many Jews are like this. They're moving towards humanistic Judaism.
I don't see that, to be honest.
Well, I'm in the diaspora. I see it. Orthodox Judaism is big and it's growing and it will only continue to grow, but it will loosen its laws, especially when it comes to the electric car. I don't drive on Shabbat. That's not what I do because that's combustion. I know that's combustion. But once you can have a car that you can program to go to shul, there's no prohibition against that. That will change things. Many people will become much more orthodox when they realize they don't necessarily have to drive. There's self-driving modes of cars, perhaps particularly the Tesla. There are no prohibitions on being in an electric car that self-drives. There's no rabbi who's made that type of determination yet. The Pusiks don't discuss it, and so it's a new world. And I think a lot of people will be much more open-minded when that kind of technology is here, and we're very close to it.
Running for minister for the national is a
Of where? Very interesting. The new one? How did you like the other one, Jacinda? Well, well, we're moving towards socialism in most every country, and socialism's the future. I know that it's failed every time that it's been tried, but we have some advantages if we try it again with AI and robotics that can help. Essentially, what we've had in the past are societies where the few rule the masses. That's always going to happen. But we have something now. Exactly. And so people will be on a UBI, a universal basic income, where essentially they're given a stipend from the government and they live their life. If you watch movies, futuristic movies, when it comes to science fiction, I know it's fiction, but those societies don't necessarily have jobs. Many of the things that they have are provided for them, and we're moving more towards those types of societies.
Hey, baby, you know, one of my most favorite bands is music from New Zealand. You know about that. Back Freddy's Rock, you know that? You know, Back Freddy's Rock, the band, or I feel like, you know, if they come, I think it, man. Or I've been to the popular there. Most of the time, but they were about 5 years ago, I really. I didn't get a team. No, I haven't been to them since I said it. Maybe a couple of years ago, I might have been to the concert. And it's like maybe you need to hear about the people that are having age or tourists globally, right? Things are not in New Zealand. And maybe now, that will all over, like, you know, and the websites are maybe all the only thing I like about socialism is try to keep people on enough. Whereas I have the ability to not have to work because I've got a month where I like to achieve things, whereas my friends that are in the same position that had water, they're just diving into drugs and a bit messed up. But I like to learn things. There's not many people like that.
Like canvas, you can bring on it any way you want. We can also start by getting up to call so last hour as we move forward there. He's hanging for a while.
Bon appetit, Rabbi.
I am having a what's the word for it? A calzone, cheese calzone.
Yeah, I have a special story. I had a brother-in-law who died at 68. I was 20 years old.
Do you know what a calzone is?
And I knew him
I think I do.
from when he was
It's like
5 years old.
filled with stuff.
Yep, dough filled with cheese or
Like Italian, like so it's a dough like a pizza that is closed, right?
exactly. Exactly. I love Italian food. Do you like Italian food? No.
Once you get to Italy, we love Italian food more.
I bet so. Do you like Italian food?
Worse, who doesn't like Italian food?
Exactly.
I think that that's what people are Italian. You don't like it? Yeah, that's just one of my favorites. Yeah. And pizza, who doesn't like pasta and pizza, you know?
Exactly. I must eat those all the time.
No, you don't. You know, you shouldn't eat it all the time.
I understand.
Especially because you're sitting at home, you know, maybe not all the time eat pizza.
That is true.
Maybe some vegetables or something like that, just to go with it.
There are vegetables in this, but you're right.
Yes. I have a banana, but fruit smoothies or spoon. Let's go. What's spirulina? Spirulina, you're all into healthy food, I see. And I use linseed, sunflower, almonds, that's ground up and down. But two big things into it. The only thing you grow in New Zealand is macadamia nuts. You say to macadamia, but also one of you heard it's my family in Australia. I went to the place where they grow it. And that's my favorite macadamia. I can eat it all day. The thing with New Zealand is you can grow anything that's got a climate where it's really good. And then you can go different places further south and further north to get sort of the perfect climate. Yeah, I should go through like it's been on my checklist very high for so long, and I've been to Australia. Like when you get to Australia, you need to buy, you need to just go there. It's just around the corner. Like getting to Australia, specifically Queensland, and one of my favorite places is Cairns in Queensland. If you know it, yeah, just go far away, man. It's like the end of the world, man. Yeah, I've got to keep playing for about 18. Australia, man. How far is that? But even to get to the other side of Australia is where I usually go first. Yeah, it takes 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. And that's nothing, man. But for me to get to Australia, I need to get international flights. Can you imagine? Transatlantic. I never been to Perth. Like, is it nice? I've been mostly to, the other side of Australia. I never over there. But then I think that because my friends who went there for the minor, a lot of them went to school, and then went over to sit on the other side of Newman. Some are drillers, some are gold miners, diesel mechanics. I go, what about the rupees? You have the rupees.
Just everything that's
So if you ever gold mining, I have
where does
I've been hacked mining like nuggets. Yeah, so I have prospected before. Just prospecting area in a river, the Denver,
Today is
and you usually find it from the streets. Yeah, New Zealand is full of it. Yeah, it's quite easy to. If you've got like a dirt from a dirt, and that's enough. Like just a regular fan, you put it and it starts. That's it. Yeah, if you're talking in the right spot. We use the switch box. So you put that into the river. Yeah, you put your material into the switch box, which is just a small 1 meter long channel. You actually can go up the rope and throw it right in, and the boat will be on the bedrock. Yeah, so you gotta digging in the right spots, the main thing. On the inside of the corners of a beam of the river. Couple games. I've done that once in Arrowtown, down in Queenstown, where that's sort of the easiest to find it. And but people that do commercial can find a couple of ounces easily a day. Yeah, it's easier to read the show on Discovery Channel about the people in Alaska that are mining gold. I love it, man. It's easy to buy a permit from the Crown for like 100 grand. You need a permit, but it's not commercial instead of your drink. Yeah. But they're easily found pretty much anywhere. For sale online.
It's weird to say.
I've seen pictures of New Zealand that looks like please, like I blew it. It's really high on my end.
More unfortunate situations, and I totally get their my sadness is different than other people's sadness. But you can't eradicate the grief. You just have to roll with it.
And my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents. Wow. My great-great-grandparents came over from Scotland. Well, it is far away, so usually probably travel in Asia, right? I get to the US, like, far, man.
nice touch.
Thailand. It's pretty remote down there. When you think about how much we need to importance of how far they come from. Yes. So is it like an expensive company with things selected they are considered the expensive one? That's not too bad. Closest supermarket. But then the fog, seeing fog rain, like nature, you can just by fog that's out and you're in the country pretty much without huge lifestyle blocks everybody's well. But the heavier of that. You what's good about New Zealand is probably the fact that you don't have all these mean animals that you have in Australia, like, right? You don't have others involved, other than controversy in another country, but Scottish trees and these animals. And Queensland is crazy. Like everything can kill you, man. Even a small ant can kill you. You have like the jellybox fish. You have crocodiles. God damn it. I remember traveling there, like I know that I'm always aware of everything. Everything you kill you. It's crazy. Yeah, at least I'm not gonna worry about this spoiler code what time. It just gives you a bit of an addiction. That's it.
Last time we talked, my mom had just passed, and you gave me a sign. Remember the sweet word that
I took the province, you got a great big scholarship, but
and they'll share the sign.
they're just recently discovered them. What about snakes? You don't have any venomous snakes in the island, nothing. Even here we have. I think there is some snakes, like sea snakes, that are coming from Australia.
That earned their stripes fighting in the Dutch War for Independence. The 30 Years' War that followed, that happened all across Central Europe. France, Spain, and England were mostly interested in fighting in and fighting over once French Flanders, now the Spanish Habsburg Netherlands. The War of Devolution was when the French Bourbons tried to reclaim some of once French Flanders from the Spanish Habsburg Netherlands. The First and Second Anglo-Dutch Wars were fought between England and the United Dutch Provinces. Really, the Spanish Netherlands shouldn't have been involved at all. But both of those wars proved to be a good opportunity for Bourbon France to stick her nose in and try to wrest some of once French Flanders. Or the Third Anglo-Dutch War, which were in many ways the same war, they were fought largely over the Bourbon French trying to wrest some of French Flanders from the Spanish Habsburg Netherlands. And each of those roles largely played into what was happening in the West Indies and the New World in general. But that last war, the Franco-Dutch/Third Anglo-Dutch War, well, that was when the conflict really boiled over from Europe and infected the West Indies. In the Third Anglo-Dutch War, we see thousands of sailors arrive in the West Indies carrying commissions and letters of marque and flying Bourbon French colors. They were there, trying to wrest territory from the Habsburg Spanish. The entire Buccaneer era was really an extension of those wars. Now, of course, the Buccaneers themselves didn't much care about the power politics back in Europe. They were there to make a living, but they got letters of marque and tips on where might be the richest prizes from governors who knew where might be the most tactically advantageous targets. However, later on, when warfare dominated the Caribbean, was coming to a close. They wanted to focus on commerce and building colonies, but in employing those pirates as privateers, the kings in old Europe had unleashed something upon the world that they would never really be able to control. This is episode 53. Twilight of the Buccaneers, Part 2. Of course, King Louis and King Charles and all the rest thought they could control the Buccaneers. They thought it would really be pretty easy. The plan was basically to entice them back into the fold, to re-enter civilization as productive members of society. They used a carrot and stick approach to draw the pirates back in. The stick was simple. Continue pirating and we'll catch you, try you, and hang you. And that worked pretty well, especially for the English. Lynch and Morgan made the English position clear with a series of high-profile things. John Coxon, for example, chose to join the Jamaican Navy, as did many others. Pirates like John Cook, Edward Davis, William Wright, and Thomas Paine, well, all of them tried to go legit at some point too. Now, none of them did a very good job, and we'll see them all back on the accounts in a few years, but all of them tried. The French, though, were less successful with that approach, mostly because they continued to grant letters of pardon. Governor Jacques Monsieur de Ponquet was authorized by the Crown to issue those letters when the situation called for it. So rather than the stick of arrest and execution, the French tried to offer the Boucanier a colony of English that they insult them. That was unacceptable. Now, things have gone further. Should have already been back in the Tijuana and sold his windfall of slaves. That would have saved the governor happy. So the property slid in unnoticed. Things had not gone.
You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Makes sustainable clothing. Yep. The shipping company FedEx has set a goal of having carbon neutral operations by 2040. Great news. This sustainability effort makes Quentin very happy. Nice. FedEx, where now it's next. Today's show is also brought to you by our Patreon supporters, including Commodore's King, Gateway, Skirt, Gateway, Black, Matthew Navigator, Vertigon, Conic Valley, Welcome to the Private History Podcast. My name is Matt. Thank you for listening. In the spring of 1686, 500 pirates gathered at Elowares, the northernmost point of the United States. There were 7 vessels ranging from the Neptune frigate down to the single-masted periaguas, and they all rallied behind Lord Cornelis Baldwin de Graaf. 500 pirates was nothing to scoff at, but this was a shadow of what de Graaf might have rallied only a year ago. Mikhail Andreessen, his longtime comrade, was not there. Jan Willems, one of the most feared movers in the world, was busy hiding out in Carolina. Michel de Grammont was currently on his way across the Atlantic, but that was a voyage from which he would not return. Those 3 captains had, for years, served as de Graaf's top men. Of course, Buccaneer Society wasn't exactly regimented like the Navy, but when Lord de Graaf called, those 3 answered. More to the point, their crews were skilled, experienced, able privateers, and they made up the majority of the parties that sailed on Veracruz and Cartagena. They were battle-tested veterans. They were forged in that Franco-Dutch War, and they were tempered by years of successful raiding. Now, 500 pirates again was not too shabby, but these pirates were not the cream of the crop. They were unknown, unnamed men. They were new to the game, and while they were eager, they weren't experienced. And these were pirates, rest assured. The Treaty of Ratisbon that ended the War of the Reunions was very clear on the question of French Boucanier. They were not to go out raiding under any circumstances. And here they were, at Elowares. They weren't like King's business. They were out for revenge. Spanish privateers had only just raided the plantation of Lord de Graaf back in February, only about a month and a half earlier. The French only recorded 100 slaves being carried off, but last time I postulated that it was a more violent, retaliatory raid. I also suggested that Mikhail Andreessen, who was de Graaf's oldest friend, and his wife, Francesca, were both killed. Again, we don't know that, so take it with a grain of salt. Whatever the cause, though, de Graaf was here with 500 men. They were acting against the mandate of the king and the governor. They were in defiance of international treaty. Yet still, they prepared to attack the Spanish men. Their goal was Ascension Bay, on the east coast of the Yucatan, just south of Elowares. Pirates sailed on the bay and made landfall, marched in. This was dense jungle, but there were paths to follow. They stopped first in a small hamlet called Temosuco, Still, the Roth ordered the town ransacked and burned. Then the pirates set out to march even further. There was a proper city, maybe about another 50 miles to the north, by ootd. Now, the pirates might not have exactly been eager to continue their marching. It wasn't just the heat and the damp and the wildlife, although those certainly played a part. They were deep in Mayan country. The Spanish may have occupied the Yucatan, but most of the inhabitants were still Maya. The jungle, though, was filled with ghosts of the Maya Empire, with ruins of their temples and sacrificial altars.
Nice quick.
Less an uneasy sort of place for any. And then there were the serpents and jaguars that had never shadowed. At night, the pirates were watched by glowing yellow eyes. Then, as they were marching, the pirates passed through villages, no larger than maybe a few dozen homes.
That was 15 years ago. I left that godforsaken land.
Pirates. The fires in those villages were sometimes still.
Fuck no. I did
That
jump off the
sensation
fucking
that they
bridge.
were not welcome began to grow. As they marched, the path began to grow, cluttered with the discarded belongings of Spanish and Mayan refugees. Now the buccaneers peeped through all of it, but there was rarely anything of any real value. But all of a sudden, the Graf ordered the column of pirates to turn around and make for their ships back in Ascension Bay. Now no one is entirely certain why. Several myths, though, have cropped up around the order. They range from a dream in which de Graaf was visited by the Mayan gods and ordered to retreat to a ghostly apparition on the path before him, and then to the most commonly told story, that of a clever young refugee named Nunez. According to legend, Nunez knew that they were being followed by the pirates, and he knew that they were going through all of the discarded belongings. So an idea came to him. He wrote out a set of orders from the governor. They detailed a Spanish trap being laid for the pirates, 2,000 men strong, certain death. Then he dropped the orders carelessly, but in a place where the pirates were sure to find them. Now, of course, there was no trap actually being laid. Valladolid was hopelessly underdefended. However, for whatever reason, be it ghosts or Mayan gods or the boy of one clever refugee, Lord de Graaf turned around and fled the Yucatan. This is episode 57, A Morsel of Thieves. The years immediately followed. The raid on Campeche would see Europe and all of her colonial holdings devolve into previously unknown world. They would eventually spread from Europe to every corner of the globe, but Spain was to make the first move. Now, over that war, that building conflict, well, it was already in the West Indies. It had never left. Back in Europe, lines were being drawn. Emperor Leopold I was still engaged in a war against the Ottoman Empire in the East, but he was winning. It was time for the Habsburgs to turn their eyes back to the West. So in July 1686, representatives from the Holy Roman Emperor, from the Spanish court, from various German principalities, Italian city-states, and the King of Sweden, well, they all met in Augsburg, Bavaria. Now, the Pope probably had agents at that meeting as well, but clandestine. They meant to draw up terms of an alliance intended to keep France in check. Now, the meeting actually happened on the advice of William of Orange, the stadtholder of the United Dutch provinces. Now, William himself couldn't attend. He was busy dealing with internal Dutch politics as well as events back in England. More on that later, though. The point is, continental Europe was marshalling all her strength against France. Now, the alliance would be called the League of Augsburg, and everyone in the alliance had a job in the League. It was Spain's job, at least part of Spain's job, to put pressure on the French in the West Indies. Now, the Spanish finally had the backing of the Germans and Italians, the other Habsburg states, as well as support of the Pope, so they were more than happy to put that pressure on the French. And as we discussed last time, they were already gathering fleets and employing privateers. They were already legally justified in defending themselves against the privateers, but now they had the strength to redouble those efforts. They could finally push their weight around. The entire history of the story of pirates and piracy in the West Indies is dependent on an economically and militarily weak Spain. For the moment, Spain was neither. Now, England was trying to stay out of the whole thing, but Spain wasn't making it easy. In the West Indies, a few months after the League of Louisbourg met, Henry Morgan would write off the most unchristian-like conduct and unneighborliness of the Spaniard, who takes all our ships at sea or in port. They have this year captured 22 sail and absolutely ruined our bay trade. The Spaniards in question were privateers. In this case, they were mostly a flota under the command of two captains based out of Santiago de Cuba. There is a pirate that we have only mentioned briefly in the past, and he deserves a closer look. His name was Juan Corso, at least that's what the Spanish called him. His real name was Giovanni Michel. He was Corsican piper, along with his brother Biagio. As young men, they were granted license from Spain to travel to the New World and act as privateers. It was a sort of distinction that was rarely given out to Spanish sailors, but even though Corsica was under Spanish authority, they weren't Spanish citizens. They arrived in Havana in the 1670s to fight in the American theater of the Franco-Dutch War. They were contemporaries of men like Lord Autograph, Michel de Grammont, John Willems, John Coxon, Bartholomew Sharp, John Rose, all the post-Panama buccaneers we've been discussing. But these Corsican brothers were on the opposing side. However, those Corsicans and all of their shipmates were not from the same cloth as the buccaneers, but while they were the same sort of scoundrels as the pirates we've been discussing for months, ruthless, violent, hard-bitten pirates, they were not brethren of the coast. See, first of all, they were Catholic. Now, that wasn't automatic disbarment from the brethren, but it didn't help. The real problem, was that they were fighting for the interests of Spain, and, oddly, at the time, for the Dutch Republic. Now, actual Dutch privateers like de Graaf and Andries, they were fighting for France. See, it wasn't really religion driving the pirates anymore. It wasn't Catholic versus Protestant, at least not that clean cut. It was all about money, power, and Bourbon interests versus Habsburg interests. Now, the two brothers were given Hispanic names. Giovanni Michel was called Juan Miguel. Giovanni is the italicized form of Juan, and both are versions of the English name John. And then they were called Corso for Corsican. Juan Corso was John the Corsican. His brother, Biagio Michel, was Blas Miguel, the Corsican. They sailed under Spanish privateers during the war, but when peace finally arrived in about 1678, they took to private mercenary work. Not exactly piracy, but they were patrolling Spanish waters as a sort of unofficial coast guard. They would capture and board and loot and pound enemy ships. It wasn't legal exactly, but not exactly new. But much like the English and the French and the Dutch, their counterparts, this particular brand of privateering stuck to only the other side. Now, they may have been straddling the line of legality, but then well, they usually look the other way. They would fail to notice when these Corsican brothers arrived in port, as long as they stuck the bad guys. By about 1680, one Corso rose to the captain of his own ship. For a while, his brother served on board the same vessel, but eventually he moved on. One Corso's first mate was a man named Giorgio Nicolo, or Nicholas. The Jamaican government would refer to their recorded in especially sensitive terms as, quote, Corsicans, Slavonians, Greeks, mulattoes, a mongrel parcel of thieves, in error. This parcel of thieves has been everywhere in our story. The Spanish ships that sailed in to bust up the logwood camps in the Bay of Campeche in 1679, that was one Corso with his crew. You recall way back after John Coxon and John Rose sacked Portobello, they came on their ships to cross the isthmus and enter the sea. was one Corso has followed and captured those ships and brought their skeleton crews back to Santiago de Cuba. That's where they were then condemned to death as pirates, but the vessel and the Englishmen detained. As the French pirates marched to execution in the town of Mutiny and removed them from fear of the Frenchmen's revenge, and the government release paid compensation. This is the manner in which they declared the current. So the French were to be executed, but the local people decided that wasn't going to happen. Instead, they made the French government to brush this aside. They say that's the sort of fear that the pirates inspired in the hearts of the Spanish, but not in Juan Corso. After that event, he grew tired of the politics and the legal restrictions leaving behind and turned to a more radical method. He started taking English and French ships without any regard for the law, and killing rather than arresting anyone suspected pirates. He became known for going to ground and whip on his prisoners. Now, it would have been easy to paint him as the bad guy throughout his entire story, and he was a bad guy, but we were all bad guys. He wasn't the bad guy. Now, he could be the antagonist, the foil against which the other pirates had to fight. But to present him that way isn't really fair. He might better be portrayed as a sort of vigilante, a Coast Guard man turned pirate hunter. If you imagine him as a young, handsome, dashing, Corsican version of Charles Bronson Devilish, a good man gone bad, out to give the Muslims a taste of their own medicine. He might be on the right track. He would eventually be arrested by the Spanish authorities after pressure from Governor Lynch and Governor de Musset. Then he was released. See, he was a foil, but he was a foil for those in power. Whenever the Spanish would complain of depredations against them, the English and French could just reflect Corso, taking ships and murdering the whole crew. Whenever the English would complain about Corso, the Spanish could report with, "Hey, remember the time your Lieutenant Governor burned us off the ground?" Or if it was the French, they could point to Jean-Rose and Picard or Michel de Gaulle. See, it was a system that kept anyone in power from having to accept a real responsibility. While their unofficial ships robbed and tortured and murdered their way across the sea. Eventually, Juan Corso's name would be yes, we are definitely followed in the North, right? But do you recall following the sack off the Page when Lord Hood was happening by the Armada de Guadalupe in the Gulf of Mexico a few weeks back? Do you remember the pirates that were captured by the Spanish and put to the question by the Inquisition? Those pirates had knowledge of the Gulf Coast colony established by Robert de Nassau. The Armada and the Inquisition were preparing to send out forces to find and crush that colony. Juan Corso took it upon himself to find that colony first and to deal with the pirates he found there in his own way. They would be arrested, they would be tortured and murdered. Now, I think it's entirely possible that someone in Havana got word to Corso, informing him of the colony. Some inquisitor or inquisitor's assistant knew that the Spanish authorities were bound by law and by honor and so Corso and his small flota sailed northeast from Tampico, the Gulf Coast of Nueva España. On May 4, 1685, one of Corso's ships, probably under Jorge Nicolas, was forced perilously close to shore by a storm. Now, it rode out that storm safely in a small bay, but during the rough weather, one of the men on board spotted signs of European habitation on shore. The captain led his men ashore to investigate. They were armed and ready for battle. The only people to meet them there, though, were a few Indians who informed the Spanish that all the Europeans in the settlement had gone. The Spanish discovered that the inhabitants were French. They knew that they had found LaSalle's colony. If not for that storm, they would have sailed right on by. It was like the hand of God pushed them in the right direction. So they took their weapons and marched inland. They intended to follow and hopefully find the French pirates. However, there was no finding them. After a few days, the Spanish marched back to their ships. This wasn't a huge problem, though. They might not have found and crushed the French pirates, but they knew where they were, and they could report the whereabouts of the French settlement to the authorities.